Have you ever wondered how the credit card in your wallet came to be? The birth of the credit card idea is indeed a fascinating journey. It's a journey that takes us back to ancient times, where the concept of credit first took root. Yes, you heard that right. The concept of credit isn't a modern invention, but rather an ancient practice. In various cultures and civilizations, we see evidence of credit systems, though they were vastly different from what we're familiar with today. In ancient Rome, for instance, we see the first signs of a credit system. The Romans would keep detailed ledgers documenting loans and repayments, a practice that was mirrored in other societies across the globe. This was the first step towards the idea of credit. Fast forward to the late 19th and early 20th century, and we find the concept of credit taking on a more recognizable form. This was a time when businesses began to offer credit to their local customers. But it wasn't the type of credit we imagine today with our plastic cards and electronic payments. It was a more personal kind of credit. Imagine walking into your local general store, picking up your necessities, and instead of cash changing hands, the store owner would simply make a note in his ledger under your account. This was a system of trust, where the store owner knew his customers and their financial situation. The customers, in turn, knew they were expected to pay their debts in a timely manner. This was an era where the credit system was based on personal relationships and trust. It was a far cry from the impersonal, digitized credit systems we see today, but it was the birth of an idea that would evolve and grow, adapting with the changing times, ultimately leading to the birth of the credit card. And thus, the concept of credit was born, setting the stage for the birth of the credit card. So, when did the first credit cards make an appearance? Well, the story takes us back to the mid-20th century, specifically the 1950s. This was a time when economies were booming, and the concept of credit started to make real sense to everyday consumers. The idea of buy now, pay later was becoming increasingly attractive, and it was in this backdrop that the first credit cards were introduced. The pioneers of this industry were none other than Diners Club and American Express. Diners Club introduced their card in 1950, and it was initially meant to help people settle their restaurant bills. Instead of paying in cash or writing a check, you could just flash your Diners Club card and the bill was taken care of. Sounds simple, doesn't it? 2 years later, in 1952, American Express jumped on the bandwagon with their own version of a credit card. Originally a freight forwarding company, American Express saw the potential of credit cards and ventured into this new territory. But how did these cards work? Well, they operated on what is known as a closed-loop system. This meant that the credit card company had a direct relationship with both the cardholder and the merchant. When a purchase was made, the merchant would send the details to the credit card company, who would then bill the cardholder. However, these early credit cards came with limitations. They were charge cards, which required the balance to be paid in full at the end of each month. There was no revolving credit, no option to carry a balance from one month to the next. Moreover, these cards were accepted by a limited number of merchants and in a handful of locations. Despite these limitations, the introduction of credit cards was a significant step in the evolution of finance. It was a bold move that would forever change the way people transact and manage their finances. While these first credit cards were a great leap forward, they were just the beginning. How did we go from these early credit cards to the bank cards we know today? Well, the revolution began in the 1960s when banks entered the credit card industry. Before this, credit cards were limited to specific stores or services. But with banks stepping in, the game entirely changed. The 1960s was a decade of change, and just as the world was evolving, so was the credit card industry. The entrance of banks into the scene was a pivotal moment. They saw a huge potential in this new form of currency, and they were ready to tap into it. One of the first to make a move was Bank of America. They launched the Bank Americard in 1966, a card that could be used in several places, not just one. This was a game changer. It was the first card that truly allowed cardholders the freedom to use their credit in a variety of locations. But the revolution didn't stop there. The Bank Americard was just the beginning. It later evolved into what we now know as Visa. Yes, that's right. The Visa card that you might have in your wallet right now started as the Bank Americard. Around the same time, a group of banks came together to form the Interbank Card Association. They created a card that could compete with Bank Americard. This card was none other than MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard revolutionized the industry. They introduced a new level of convenience and versatility. For the first time, consumers could use the same card at multiple locations, no matter where they were. This was not just a luxury, it was a necessity in a rapidly globalizing world. The entrance of banks into the credit card industry and the creation of Visa and MasterCard were major milestones. They transformed the way we think about and use money. They made credit cards more than just a novel idea. They turned them into a practical tool, a staple of modern life. This was the start of the bank card era, which brought credit cards into the mainstream. But how did we end up with the plastic cards we carry in our wallets today? It wasn't always plastic, you know. The first credit cards were made of paper and then cardboard. They were more like IOU notes than the robust, durable cards we know today. But as the demand for credit cards grew, so did the need for a more durable material. Enter plastic. The leap from paper and cardboard to plastic was monumental. The use of plastic allowed for a more resilient and long-lasting card, able to withstand the rigors of daily use. But it wasn't just about durability. Plastic paved the way for the introduction of new technologies that would revolutionize the credit card industry. The first of these technologies was the magnetic stripe. This thin band of magnetic material on the back of the card allowed for data storage. Instead of manually entering card details, merchants could now swipe the card through a reader. This made transactions quicker, more efficient, and less prone to human error. But while the magnetic stripe made transactions more convenient, it didn't do much for security. That's where chip technology came in. Introduced in the late 20th century, the EMV chip, named for its developers Europay, MasterCard, and Visa, added an extra layer of security to credit card transactions. Unlike the magnetic stripe, which stored unchanging data that could be easily copied, the chip creates a unique transaction code for each purchase. This means that even if a thief manages to steal your card details, they can't use them to make fraudulent purchases. The transition from paper and cardboard to plastic, the introduction of magnetic stripes, and the advent of chip technology, all these advancements marked the dawn of a new era, the plastic age. Not only did these developments make credit cards more durable and convenient to use, but they also made them more secure. And so, plastic became the standard, and credit cards became a common sight in wallets around the world. These advancements in technology made credit cards even more ubiquitous. As technology advanced, how did credit cards keep up? Well, it's a fascinating journey of innovation and adaptation. With the dawn of the internet in the late 20th century, the landscape of commerce underwent a seismic shift. Suddenly, the world became a global marketplace, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. As e-commerce gained traction, credit card companies found themselves with a brand new playground. This was a place where transactions could be processed instantly, without the need for physical cards or signatures. The digital revolution had begun. Virtual credit cards, an online version of your physical card, emerged. These provided an additional layer of security for online transactions by generating a random card number for each purchase, keeping your actual card details safe. The rise of smartphones brought the next game changer: mobile payments. Credit cards leaped from our wallets straight into our phones, transforming them into digital wallets. This wasn't just about convenience, but also about speed and security. With features like contactless payments, biometric authentication, and instant notifications, credit cards became smarter and more user-friendly. But the digital revolution wasn't just about adapting to new technology. It was also about welcoming new players into the field. Enter companies like PayPal, not a bank and not a credit card company, but a completely new kind of financial service that rode the wave of the digital revolution. PayPal, and others like it, streamlined online payments, allowing people to send and receive money and make purchases with just an email address. But let's not forget, every revolution has its challenges. Cybersecurity became paramount as the risk of digital fraud loomed large. Credit card companies had to invest heavily in advanced security measures, including encryption, tokenization, and fraud detection algorithms. In the end, the digital revolution wasn't just about technology. It was about making life easier, transactions smoother, and credit cards more convenient. So what's the takeaway? The digital revolution has made credit cards more convenient than ever. And with the pace of innovation showing no signs of slowing down, who knows what the future holds? So what's next for credit cards? An intriguing question indeed. As we've seen, the evolution of credit cards has been marked by constant innovation, all aimed at making transactions more secure, convenient, and seamless. So let's take a look at the horizon and see what potential developments might shape the future of credit cards. First off, let's talk about biometric security. We've seen the introduction of chip and PIN systems, and then contactless payments. But as technology advances, so do the methods of the fraudsters. Hence, we might soon see biometric authentication becoming a standard feature of credit cards. This could involve fingerprint recognition, facial recognition, or even retinal scans. The goal here is clear: to make the process of authenticating transactions as secure as possible, while also making it quick and convenient. And speaking of convenience, let's not forget about contactless payments. They've been around for a while, but there's still plenty of room for growth. As more and more people become comfortable with the idea of making payments without swiping or inserting their card, we can expect to see an increase in the use of contactless technology. This could mean payments made through wearable devices, or even through a simple wave of your hand. But perhaps the most exciting development on the horizon is the potential role of cryptocurrency and blockchain technology. These technologies offer the possibility of secure, decentralized transactions that cut out the middleman. Imagine a world where you can make a payment directly to a merchant, with no need for a bank or credit card company to facilitate the transaction. It's a big idea, and it could reshape the entire landscape of payments. While we can't predict the future, one thing is clear: the credit card has come a long way from its humble beginnings. And with the pace of technological development showing no signs of slowing down, who knows what the future may hold? But one thing's for sure: the credit card, in whatever form it takes, will continue to play a vital role in our financial lives. Until our next dash through history, subscribe, like, and stay tuned for more fascinating tales on Historical Dash.